Aditya, tell us about the significance of these attacks. This is possibly the first time that we're seeing this spread of attacks in such a short span of time.
Firstly, all across the sea and the ocean, we have seen significant movement over the last more than 2 decades, particularly by the Somali pirates.
Right.
And there's been, an interagency coordination between the naval forces and the coast guards to, in fact, keep them under check. But they haven't been able to prevent many of these incidents. There have been negotiations. In many cases, money, etc., has been released. But in this particular case, particularly Iran's proxies, including the Houthis, are targeting ships and vessels that have connections with Israel in any way. It could be some kind of investment in that ship, or part ownership, or the ship could be Israeli in nature. There was a ship that was heading towards India that was captured in a very dramatic way, a video that came out.
Yes, absolutely. We're looking at those
which
visuals.
Clearly indicating this is actually that video in which on a chopper they land in a moving ship, a very rarely seen video, and they actually take over the entire place. Gunmen, multiple, at least more than a dozen gunmen on that ship, taking over the entire area.
Remarkable, Aditya, because it's like the Houthis have deck qualified helicopter pilots who can land on a moving deck. This is expertise of a very high order, and in that sense it's a step above what the Somali pilots were also doing.
Absolutely. I'm sure that the naval forces and coast guards would look at this video very closely to actually apprehend and actually make changes in their regular SOPs, because what we have seen till now, ever since the predominance of the Somali pirates, ever since 2005, there have been very set protocols and SOPs that have been put in place. I think they will have to reinvent these SOPs once they see this kind of a footage of a chopper not just monitoring the movement of the ship, they actually know who the owner is, from where to where this is going, and what is the precise time they need to strike in. And of course, they knew that they will not be countered by any kind of force, naval force or the coast guards, and this was the right time to actually strike in. So I think this puts a lot of questions on the security, on supply chains as well, because this is a trade route. This is a route where a lot of oil, a lot of energy also goes in continuously between the Mediterranean, between Europe and between South Asia.
This is the default route between India and Europe. That IMEC was supposed to shorten this. And but this is a route that's between the India-Israel trade. Which is almost what, $7 billion annually. It's gone up, and if you have rebels like this grabbing Israeli ships of cargo headed to and from Israeli ports, then that's a very serious issue for India-Israel trade, Aditya.
Absolutely. India and Israel have had a very robust trade that is only growing over the last decade, and in the years ahead could grow further, with Adani really taking over the Haifa port. And what we are witnessing ever since the war began on 7th of October is the fact that Ashkelon, one of the ports, has been shut almost. The international vessels and ships are not being allowed in, but there are others like Haifa and others that are still operational, but could be shut anytime. And there are concerns with international ship operators and private players whether to go ahead with it.
So this is actually a smart game that the Houthis are playing, and obviously it's Iran behind them, the kind of economic warfare that is being waged. I mean, if you thought that it was only one side that could, play economic warfare, sanctions and all that, the Iranians seem to be doing exactly this in the Red Sea, and obviously the stakes are much higher, especially for countries like India, which is not directly involved in this, would kind of get pulled into this kind of a situation, Aditya. And the other interesting point is that I was just reading this excerpt of one of the reports which said that a US warship, there have been in fact 3 such attacks over the last 1 week, and one of the US warships, when it came to the assistance of the third ship that was pirated. Here we can see the first one is of course the Galaxy Leader, which we just saw that dramatic helicopter footage. That was the second one that was attacked by drones, and the third one, this is the third ship that was attacked on the 23rd, 24th in the Indian Ocean. And when the American ship went to the aid of this ship, it was there were 2 ballistic missiles fired towards the American ship, and that's remarkable. The area of operations that you're looking at the Red Sea, 2 ships in the Red Sea and one in the Indian Ocean. the spread is incredibly large. I mean, this is clearly not any non-state actor. This is entirely state actors, Aditya. What do you think that, India's response should be in such a situation?
Well, to be cautious and be prepared. Yeah. I don't think that, India would be attacked or, by mistake a missile would actually land in India. I don't think that will happen. But we have to be prepared. We had announced the IMEC. Many say that the war in itself is because of the IMEC. Well, the jury is out there. But we got a glimpse of the kind of impacts and consequences of war after the Russia-Ukraine war. The kind of economic consequences that led to. India also was given a lot of summons at that time because of the independent policy that India had. And a lot of oil, etc., energy that's coming in from Russia. That's still coming in. And interestingly, Europe is buying from India much more than it used to a couple of years ago.
So refined oil, yes.
Absolutely. So as of now, I think India will have to be very cautious because, we are talking about the entire Indian Ocean region that is already threatened by the Chinese spying vessels, etc., that have happened in the past. And now comes this threat. So I think this is a new level of threat. We need to reimagine security, maritime security, and be cautious because the proxies are, in for more adventures, misadventures in these regions. And I think this is likely to increase in the coming weeks.
There's been no official statement from the MEA, Aditya, about these attacks or how it's impacting India.
I don't think there has been any public statement yet by any of the government agencies. But I'm sure that India, not just with Israel and the UAE and others, but would be in contact with a lot of partners with which it has, relations, maritime relations. Of course, the Quad would be in contact continuously because Australia and Japan also play a very significant role when it comes to maritime security. And India would be taking the laid down precautions and in touch with US, Israel, and a lot of significant players in the region in this regard.
And of course, the global maritime community is extremely concerned about these events, as they should be for any such random acts of terror out at sea, because it compromises not just shipping, but also has an impact on the insurance, the cargoes that are insured, and that has a bearing on the kind of investments and all of that. So there's a cascading effect there, and if the Houthis start doing this, as Iranian proxies are wont to in a situation like this, it could have unintended consequences for the whole world.
NEWS9 Plus. Download now.